He sits out against the Saints. Mark Sanchez competes with Trevor Siemian for the Broncos starting QB position when they face the Bears. Gentlemen, Stephen A., I'll start with you. What are you looking forward to tonight?
You know, it's interesting enough. I'm looking at the Redskins and the Falcons.
Okay.
I want to see what Josh Norman is going to do, how much time he's going to play. I know it's the first preseason game or what have you. I don't know if they're going to play their stars or whatever the case may be, but you just never know. The Redskins, obviously, on paper, should be the favorites in the NFC East, but I'm still questioning whether or not they're allergic to prosperity. And I want to see how they're going to look moving forward.
Washington at Falcons, meh. Bucks at Eagles, meh. Saints at Pats. Garoppolo and
we already spoke about Garoppolo.
Drew Brees, by the way, gets in for a series. You always want to see Drew Brees. Panthers at Ravens, do we even get to see Cam Newton? That's the reason I'd be tuning in. Jaguars at Jets, meh. Broncos at Bears, you want to see what's going to happen at quarterback, what they look like. You know, they just won the Super Bowl. So like, you got a slim pickings, but it's the first game of preseason. I know everyone's thirsty for football, but preseason never does it for me. But the Saints at Pats, Panthers at Ravens, Broncos at Bears at least gives you something to look at tonight.
It gives you something to look at, and I definitely think that, you know, you can sit there and say it's curious to see what's going to happen in Denver, but at the same time, when you think Mark Sanchez, you think the butt fumble. When you think Paxton Lynch, you think rookie. When you think Trevor Siemian, you're like, who the hell is this guy? So really, it's about Denver's defense, and that really doesn't matter during the preseason because the dudes that matter shouldn't be playing in this particular game.
Well, except Siemian,
right?
Who the hell is this guy?
Right.
You get to see him a little.
Well, again, you get to see him a little and what happens, but essentially, even if he were to get the job, it's by default because it's an indictment against a rookie because he's a rookie, and it's an indictment against Mark Sanchez because you don't believe him and he's still indelibly attached to the butt fumble, which gets me back to the Falcons and the Redskins. In certain respects, you're interested in the Falcons because obviously they started strong last year before nosediving over their last 11 games, but you still got Matt Ryan there. You still got Julio Jones there. Let's see what happens and whether or not they've improved their defense. But the real story is the Redskins because the NFC East is always an interesting and compelling division. Even though the Eagles are expected to be in the cellar, the Giants spent $200 million on their defense. The Dallas Cowboys are who they are, and you look at the Redskins and you constantly wonder who's going to mess it up for themselves because that always seems to be the case with one of them within the NFC, with the Redskins having Josh Norman, with Deshaun Jackson expected to be healthy going into the season with Pierre Garçon, both in the last year of their contracts, with Jordan Reed being the stud at the tight end and Kirk Cousins willing to validate himself with a one-year $19.95 million deal going out there to prove his worth. You do find yourself interested.
In a weird way, though, you know Kirk Cousins is going to be the quarterback. That makes Washington less interesting to me to watch than Denver. Not only did Denver just win the Super Bowl, but because, well, what's going to happen there at quarterback? That actually makes a preseason game a little more interesting.
All those quarterback situations, even with the Eagles, I think, as well. But you guys are sleeping on the Jags and the Jets. Remember, you debated earlier, you're mad that the Jags were so high on the power rankings. That's a team I want to see.
Everybody's been talking about them.
Yeah.
I don't go for that in the NFL. When you have a history of ineptitude, okay, I have to see you become relevant first. I mean, my Lord, we got a team going to the playoffs that hasn't won, that hasn't even had a 500 record.
But it'll be interesting to see him tonight, I think, against the Jets.
I can't predict. I'm saying to you, I'm projecting that they ain't going to be in the playoffs.
So you like Jags and Jets tonight?
I want to see that tonight, yeah.
Jags and Jets?
Yeah.
Okay.
Meh.
Broncos, we think Mark Sanchez is going to be the starter week 1?
Yeah, but what is that saying? What is that? So? You beat out Paxton Lynch and Trevor Siemian if that happens. Wow!
But like,
let's stop the
let's see what Siemian
Mark
looks like.
Sanchez is a starting quarterback in Denver, like he beat Peyton Manning or something. Who the hell would he have beaten?
By the way, last year's Peyton Manning wasn't that hard to beat either. Osweiler beat him.
So we're going in the right direction. We got to take it day by day, and like I said, you never know who you're going to be out there with. So, I mean, all the tight ends, all the receivers, all the skill guys on offense. It's a long process in camp, but we're definitely going in the right direction.
Jimmy G, he's feeling optimistic, but for those Patriots fans who need to see it to believe it, tonight will be the eye test. Confirmed by our Adam Schefter after first being reported by the Boston Herald. Jimmy Garoppolo will start tonight against the Saints. Tom Brady will sit. Damian Woody back with us. You know a little something about this organization. Won a couple rings with them. What do you expect we'll see from Jimmy Garoppolo?
You know, tonight is about what I call alignment and assignment. You know, it's the first preseason game. Teams are not going to show exotic schemes. You have some starters not even playing. All the coaching staff wants to see, and Jimmy Garoppolo is in the same boat. Can you get the guys lined up, and can you go out there and execute the plays that are called? It's really as simple as that. Do they want to see you string together some plays, have some success? Absolutely. But for the coaching staff and the players, it's as simple as, okay, go out there. I want you to make sure you're lined up in the right spot, and the basic plays that we're gonna call, can you execute those plays and stay healthy? Get out of there without any injuries. It's really as simple as that.
I don't know what to look for. I mean, like, you're talking about the first game, so we have nothing to compare Garoppolo to so far this year. Even if it was a second game, you could say, has he made progress? Belichick, in particular, is not going to show you anything. First game of the preseason, right? And then also you wonder if, is Garoppolo, as far as the media concerned, a MacGuffin? A MacGuffin is the thing in the movies, right? You see, and they're chasing this character around or chasing after this thing that really doesn't have to do with the main plot. Because Belichick used a third-round draft pick, Jacoby Brissett. He uses a third-round draft pick on a kid who was what, David? Mentored by
Bill Parcells.
Bill Parcells. Mm-hmm. So maybe, just maybe, Belichick's looking at Brissett as the actual long-term answer to Brady, and while we're all paying attention to Garoppolo because he's going to get those 4 games, maybe actually the more interesting guy to watch, since we all know the Patriots will be just fine come playoff time. They'll win enough games to get in. Maybe the guy you should actually be paying attention to is their third stringer. See if he gets in, see how many reps he gets, see what he looks like.
You know what happened here, and it's not your fault, Damian, because you weren't here. And Max was here, and, you know, Max is so, you know, caught up, you know, because he got hoodwinked by Molly.
Really?
Molly, you know,
Smooth
Jimmy
cat.
Garoppolo
Jimmy G
has thrown, 31 regular season passes, probably most of it in garbage time. Basically, he's done nothing. His breath smell like Similac, wet behind the ear, don't know a damn thing about the NFL yet because he's still learning. And it's not an insult. That's my way of highlighting novices. But Molly wanted to give him a nickname. And Jimmy G sounds sassy and sweet and cool. And Max Kellerman jumped all up on it, you know. So they acted like, you know, Jimmy G. Here's the part that everybody missed.
Go, Garoppolo,
all right?
yes.
Jimmy Garoppolo had better show me something tonight. And by the way, I don't give a damn if it's just a preseason game. I don't give a damn if Rob Gronkowski's not playing, Julian Edelman's not playing, Chris Hogan's not playing. These are primary offensive weapons that he's going to have at his disposal in the event, once he gets on the field tonight, because he's going to start and Tom Brady's not. Here's why I need to see something from Jimmy Garoppolo. Tom Brady's not going to play the first 4 games of the season because he's finally come to his senses that was the case, that he wasn't going to win, because even the great Tom Brady with the supermodel Giselle, who, walking on that to the Olympics, incredible. That runway, that was a runway walk right there for the Olympics. Beautiful, all that stuff.
Switching her hips.
He wasn't bigger than the brand, the NFL. Jimmy Garoppolo, y'all forget, who's he playing against tonight? It would be the Saints.
Yeah.
You mean the worst defense in the NFL? 31 in yards allowed, 31st rank out of 32 teams in passing. I'm sorry, you're going up against one of the 2 worst teams in all of football. All of football. Because no matter how much they have improved, you ain't improved yet because your first preseason game. You see what I'm saying? It's not like you got anything under your belt. Last time we saw the Saints, they stunk. They are horrible defensively, which is why we give Drew Brees such props as a tier 1 player.
No doubt.
Because Drew Brees literally carries that franchise offensively. Their defense stinks. If you're Jimmy Garoppolo, in the first preseason game that they have, coming off epic, just dysfunctionality, ineptitude of the highest order, and this is their first preseason game together, and you can't do anything against them, I got a problem with you. Now, my last point, having said what I just said, I think it's safe to say we could hold off on the Jimmy G until he shows us that he can do something against a defense that look like they belong in the CFL.
So let me get this straight.
Yes.
So if Jimmy G, as you like to call him, you keep saying Jimmy G.
I say it sarcastically.
So If he
Practice
doesn't light it up in the preseason, in the first preseason game,
Stephen A.
wait a minute, hold on.
He has a
If he
problem.
doesn't light it up in the first preseason game, so all of a sudden the alarms should sound, everything should go off. You're not even game planning against these guys.
Damien, what is?
All you're doing is
tell me when you want the answer. Tell me when you want the answer.
In their source. I am not saying he has to go and play lights out. I am saying that because of how horrible the Saints defense is, Jimmy Garoppolo, show me something tonight. Show me something. That's all I'm saying.
Allow me. It doesn't matter if Jimmy Garoppolo goes, as Tom Brady did in practice apparently the other day, everyone's celebrating 25 for 25. It doesn't matter if he doesn't have a single completion. Everyone here, sitting here knows, and everyone watching knows, that the Patriots ain't going to be any worse than 2-2 after week 4. I mean, this is what it is. It's a Belichick team. He did it with Matt Castle. Jimmy Garoppolo's not on the roster by accident. He's on the roster because Belichick thinks he can get the job done. Probably the greatest coach who ever lived in football, in professional football, in the NFL. It ain't going to be less than 2-2. They might be 3-1.
I'm not overreacting.
I'm excited to see him tonight to see if he's the future.
I'm not overreacting. I'm just saying, show me a little something. Show me a little.
You're going to see alignment and assignment. That's what you're going to see. Alignment, assignment. And I'm not the only one who Googled McGuffin during the segment. Some people at home did too.
Yeah, you kind of threw me off.
Alignment, assignment.
I definitely Googled it.
That's it.
Damien,
Brissett might be the guy to watch.
Thank you for being the only sane one here today. We appreciate you.
I'm not going to be sane.
When we come back.